interim at some point. Yeah.
There's a lot.
I think that was the official title I had on my desk or whatever.
And were you part-time or full-time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so Craig, I really appreciate you showing up tonight, helping me out. You know, I've got the jitters. Hopefully, I make Lucas proud, but we'll see.
Don't worry, there's 13 people watching.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of people to disappoint. So I'm gonna live up.
Stakes are high.
Very high, very high. But we just want to start out like we always do, and with our guest. Do you mind telling me a little bit about your testimony?
yeah. So I actually grew up here at Eastwood Baptist Church. I think Corey and I pretty much grew up together then here as well. So we grew up together in the youth group. We even did Sunday school before that together.
Yep.
So I was very familiar with Christianity, and I could speak Christianese at a very young age. And it was probably whenever I was 18 or 19. I had a really awesome man of God kind of walk with me and disciple me, and it was probably at that age that not just knowing all the right answers, but I think just meeting God for who he truly was. I had known a lot about God, but whenever I saw him for his holiness, it really put all of my sin in perspective, and I thought I was a pretty good kid. So for me to realize how wicked I was on the inside kind of wrecked a good old church boy. So whenever I saw God for who he was, I saw me for who I was, and I was a mess. So it was later in life that I really began to bear fruit after Jesus came down and really grabbed my heart. So it's been 10 years now? 10, 11 years since, yeah.
From that age?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 30, just turned 30.
Oh yeah, that's
I
exciting.
can be a dad now.
Ooh. In case you didn't know.
I mean, Lucas
father.
jumped the gun, but
Yeah,
I feel like
Lucas just had to show us all up,
Yeah,
you know.
he did.
Start early, but no big deal. We hold no resentment. We still love you. Well, I really thank you for that.
Yeah.
So tonight's game that we're gonna kind of open with, if you guys watch any TV shows, you know, Cheer or Fear. If you can name that show, I'm proud of you. If you can't, that's fine. But it's kind of our version of the Newlywed Game. So I asked Craig some questions. He did not give me the answers, but he gave Christian the answers. I was asked questions, the same questions, gave Christian the answers. So now Christian is going to ask us, and we will give our response as to how we think the other person answered. If we get it right, thank goodness, we know our friend pretty well, and we don't have any consequences. If we are wrong, we will start by consuming a nice big man bite out of the jalapeno. That's round one. They will get hotter as we continue to fail. And of course, it's, first one to answer 3 questions incorrectly loses. So
I'm already sweating.
Yeah.
By the way, just thinking about this.
I'm sweating not from that, but just also from nervousness.
Yeah.
So
These lights are hot.
these lights are hot. I'm nervous, but we're gonna be good. You ready, Christian?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's start this off with a question for Craig.
Okay, good.
Craig, what is Corey's middle name?
I'm gonna pretend like I have to take time, but I don't because it's Alan.
It is Alan.
Safe.
It is Alan.
Nice. Corey, I have the same question for you. What is Craig's middle name?
Okay, again, I can pretend I don't know it, but I do. And it is Walton. C-W.
Nice.
Everyone
That
knows
is
this.
correct.
Walton.
Who chose these questions?
All right, so
That
we're
was
gonna.
me.
Okay,
That's me. I went through a list of
We had
150.
Easy one.
Layup. I told him we wanted to get
we
somebody.
need to start off.
We didn't want to be like Jeremy and and Lucas.
Yeah, where do you want
Miss
to travel? The whole world.
the whole
Jeremy,
world.
that's not an
Yeah,
answer,
that's
bro.
not an answer.
Okay.
All right, now that you guys are warmed up, Craig, what profession did Corey want to be when he was a kid?
I don't actually know, but I feel like you'd be proud of this answer.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to take a bite, but I feel like a coach is something that you kind of drafted early on. So it's
I'm
probably-
sorry, Craig. That was incorrect.
What is it
He
really?
wanted to be a pharmacist when he was a kid.
what, Corey? That was a man bite.
That was a good one. I've never been more proud of you, except for the fact that I mean, you did know I wanted to be a pharmacist.
I
He
did,
knew.
but I forgot.
He
So.
knew.
All right.
It's been a long time.
But you wanted to be a coach and a teacher?
I did want to be a coach, a teacher. You know, I'm pretty, flighty, so I wanted to be a lot of things.
All right. Corey, what did Craig want to be as a child?
As a child, that's tough. But I think his answer was
I'm gonna get the hiccups.
engineer.
That is incorrect.
Dang
He
it.
wanted to be a construction worker.
I was consistent.
You know, I really thought engineer would get me, points.
Which is close.
Okay.
There you go.
That's a man bite.
That's pretty hot.
Nice.
That's pretty hot. Okay.
All right, Craig.
Yeah.
Next question. What is Corey's favorite physical activity?
Basketball. Slam dunk.
That is correct.
All day long.
No. There's no doubt.
Corey, are you able to answer questions?
Yeah. I'm
Okay,
good.
okay.
Let's do this.
Making sure you're all good.
Do I get the
what
second
is-
one?
Yeah, same
Okay.
one. What is Craig's favorite physical activity?
Oh, dear God. I hope it's running.
Yeah, the trail running.
Okay,
or rock
that
climbing.
got the words in there.
I gave you two answers too because
Okay.
it was kind of a toss-up. So I was
Okay.
going to accept either that or
Okay.
rock climbing. So
All right. Craig,
yes,
what is Corey's favorite TV sitcom?
Office.
Boom, correct.
It's a great show. Cheer
Corey,
here.
what's Craig's favorite TV sitcom?
The Office.
Man, right on the head.
Yeah, as it should be. If it's
I'm not going to drink it though.
Oh, okay. Then I can't either.
Yeah. I'm going to.
Gotta finish
I'm
the
going to
game.
show my. Yeah, I'm going to show my.
The
commitment
dad.
to the game.
Dad's strength.
Craig,
Yep.
what was Corey's first concert he ever attended?
Oh man. This I'm gonna have to chew one for this one.
Yeah, probably.
Man, I'm just gonna make one up.
Do it.
I'm just gonna say Lincoln Brewster.
That is incorrect. It was Casting Crown.
He was there with me too, guys.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were. It was a youth trip.
No,
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Hold on, just wait a second. Okay, go on.
Okay, hold on. Or was it Mercy Me?
No, go on.
Okay, all right.
Go on. Ask the question.
That's
Corey,
same one.
what was Craig's first concert?
I think it was the same one that I went to, and I think it was Casting Crowns.
That is incorrect.
So I
it
mean,
was
it was-
Reliant K.
Was it not Reliant K?
I've never seen Reliant K. I've never seen Reliant K.
Oh, you know what? That may have been on a band trip at,
See.
and I just okay.
Okay.
Reliant K. Which Kylie, your wife, would be very proud of me.
Just want to point that out, guys.
Is that mine?
Yep.
Sorry.
All right. Craig,
Okay.
if Corey could meet a famous
I
person,
went up you again.
who would he meet? And you can't say Jesus,
Yeah.
because that is the correct.
So are we doing the living one or the dead one?
Do both.
Yeah, we'll
If you
go.
get either right, you don't have to bite. I did
But if you get both wrong, you have to eat the whole thing.
I point that out.
Okay. Living man. I'm just gonna say Michael Jordan,
What about deceased?
Kobe Bryant.
Too soon.
No, it was an honorable thing. I was
I
trying
know,
to
You
not
did get it right. Living is Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Good job.
Living is Michael Jordan. Good job.
Okay.
I'm proud of you.
So
Corey.
I'm safe.
Yeah, you don't
Okay.
have
You're
to.
good. You're good.
And
You're gonna have
deceased-
to. Yeah, this will be.
Deceased was actually Abraham Lincoln.
Really.
Yes. I wanted to know what went through his mind during that whole,
Okay. Well, you do have a shot. You do have a shot on mine. On one of them. I'm not gonna tell you which one.
Okay.
All right, Corey.
I got a shot on both.
You.
I think.
No, you don't.
You
I
had the
think
same
on the
question.
deceased I have a
Who
shot.
would he meet, living or deceased?
Okay. I want to start with deceased.
I already know what's coming.
I'm gonna say, and I hope it's Martin Luther. Ding ding ding.
That is correct.
Okay, good. Alright.
What? Just it'd be like meeting a bull. In just what a full personality. I would be terrified to meet him too, just because German big personality, like Anyway, but he stood against the world, contra mundum, right? Man. Okay.
I was hoping, but for living, living is the more difficult one for me. John Piper?
That is incorrect. It's actually Bobby McFerrin.
I would never.
I wouldn't have guessed. Like, that one threw me off. I wouldn't have guessed.
Do you like that one, Phil? I like that. He's my favorite vocalist, and he's a believer.
See, I was between Justin Timberlake and Michael Jordan.
Okay.
So you had a very good shot of getting that one right.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Craig, what is Corey's favorite superhero?
I'm gonna go. I don't know if this is Kylie's, but I'm gonna say Batman.
That is correct.
Okay.
We have the same.
Is it both of yours?
It is both of ours.
Okay.
My wife loves Batman, probably more than I do.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
why I got
strange,
confused, but.
All right, Corey, what's Craig's favorite superhero?
I hope it's Batman.
It is Batman.
Yeah! Yes!
He was so realistic.
Yes, he
I
was.
didn't like how fake Superman was.
Yeah.
I just felt like if they were to actually meet, Batman would exist. You know what I'm saying? So, and the other
Well,
one
because
wouldn't.
Batman can exist because he's just
know.
super rich.
Yeah, and all the gadgets.
Same thing with Iron Man. Can exist, they're just super rich.
So we get along so well.
We can't get started on the superhero stuff. We'll be here all night and we won't get anything
Yeah, man,
accomplished.
nobody sets fire, man. Come on. All right, Craig,
Yeah.
what is Corey's favorite drink?
Coke.
Boom. Right on the
I'm
head.
pretty simple, man.
Nailed it.
Pretty simple.
Corey,
You
what's
have to
Craig's
dig.
favorite drink?
You have to
Okay.
dig deep.
So in the youth group, it definitely would have been Dr. Pepper.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
That is
I'm
incorrect.
wrong. I'm wrong.
It's
But it
actually eggnog shakes.
Okay.
But that would have been correct in the youth group days, so I was gonna say you didn't have to take a bite, but it was already in your mouth, and you were already.
This segment needs to be over.
Okay.
Because it's
It actually is. That is all
is
of our
that it?
questions. Good job, boys.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
You see this, CDC?
You're not social distancing.
You see that? Eastwood Baptist Church, right here.
That was bad. I apologize.
That's okay.
So, yep. Just put everyone at risk. My apologies.
It's okay.
Oh, Christian,
Corey.
can you take over the segment of dad jokes for just a moment?
Yeah.
So that we can breathe.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
It's a good game.
All right, so if you guys haven't been paying attention to the news, some guy has just been arrested. He was caught breaking into a calendar store. He got 12 months. No?
That's good.
Pretty good.
We like
Pretty
it.
good.
That is good.
Which is kind of relatable to today, actually. I just got fired from my job working at the calendar factory. It was kind of a dumb reason. I took a day off.
Can't do that with calendars,
I
man.
know, man.
No.
So, I don't know if you guys ever heard about this, but I actually used to be like clinically addicted to soap. Like I just could not get away from it. But thankfully, I'm clean now.
Yes. Yes.
Scott, fun fact, used to work at a soap factory.
I remember that.
So
yeah.
he, in a way, was addicted just because he had to be there to do it.
Had to be there to do it.
That makes sense. That's true. So you were like a soap dealer.
See, you took it a different direction than I thought it was going. I really thought it was going to go like soap opera, but
Oh, that would have. Yeah, that would have been a good one. I'm sure there's one in there.
I'm sure. Guys, it's very difficult to talk to you right now. I don't know if my face is red, but it certainly feels like it is. We get funny things coming from the peanut gallery over here. So, this week we're kind of going to talk about questioning God and asking for evidence and things of that nature. So I'm actually going to put Christian on the spot. He doesn't really know this question's coming to him. But Christian, has anyone ever told you a story that you just needed evidence that what they were telling you was true? And can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a couple of simple ones. Back when I used to play soccer more regularly, there were, like whenever you juggle a ball with your feet, there were these cool tricks you could do. And this guy swore to me he could do a double around the world, and I did not believe him. So I needed some evidence. I needed to see him do it in order to believe that he could, because to me that was just kind of an impossible move.
Yeah. Could he do it?
He could.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So you needed to see that to believe it.
Yeah, it was just kind of like out there for me, so I really needed to like verify that information.
I've been there many times. You know, growing up, you have young friends. I was that friend for him, I'm sure, where I would tell him I could do things that I couldn't do. And occasionally he did call me on that. And
I got called for that all the time, you know, for my girlfriend from another school.
Oh, yeah.
That nobody else had
Oh,
met.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I had a couple of those. None of us have that anymore, though. No more girlfriends from other schools. You can't get away with that these days, though, either.
No, you can't. You
with
get called out like
all the
right
social
away.
media and everything.
No.
So, note to you youngsters, don't try it. And yes, I did get to use the word youngsters
Did it feel
in the
good?
broadcast. It felt pretty good. My bones felt like,
Yeah.
felt pretty good. But tonight's story, we're going to reference two different ones. The first one is basically all of Judges chapter 6. We do not have enough time to read all of Judges chapter 6 on here, so it's about Gideon. We're going to kind of paraphrase a little bit. Hopefully no heresy comes out. But most of you know the story of Gideon. Gideon was from a tribe. He was one of the lowest people in his tribe, and the Midianites were persecuting his people, and ultimately, God came, showed up to him, and basically told him, hey, I want you to stand up, I want you to fight. And he needed a sign because the Midianites were very strong. Israel was very weak at this time and kind of beaten down. So he asked for a sign. Craig, do you remember the first sign that he was given? He didn't really ask for this.
We're not at the fleece yet, are we?
Not at the fleece yet.
Let me just.
You do the
let me
fleece one
cheat.
because you know that one.
I do know. I forget
So
the first
the
one.
first sign, he asked the angel of the Lord to hold on while he goes home, and he sacrifices some animals,
Yeah.
brings back the meat, brings back some cakes, and puts it on the stone. And the angel of the Lord has fire come up and consume his offering. So that was the first sign he was given. I'm going to let Craig now tell you the second sign. That
Which is
Gideon-
kind of it's a twofer,
Yes.
the second sign.
Yeah.
So he was out. He still needed some more evidence, and so he was like, all right, God, I'm going to go out. And I can't remember which one is in which order, but they were both in there. And he put like a fleece blanket or whatever out on the ground. He's like, okay, God, like in the morning, I just want, as the dew is falling, I just want the blanket or the fleece to be wet, but not the grass, okay? Be pretty evident sign. And so I can't remember which one, if that was the correct order, if that one was first. It happened, and then the second one was the reverse. It was the opposite. It was like, okay, now just the grass have dew on it and the fleece be dry. And both of them happened. So, like I said, can't remember which one happened in which order, but they both were done. So
You got them in the correct order.
Did I?
You
Okay,
did get them in the
cool.
correct order, which is great for him not being the one that studied. It was me that did that one. So,
to
fantastic.
be
that I
fair,
picked the
you
guess.
sent it to me last night at like bedtime.
Correct, which, is pretty standard for youth ministers. We get the information out really, really late, okay? And we expect you to know it. That's not a dig at Lucas at all. I love you, Lucas. You get me the information plenty of time. I had this way in advance. And then I procrastinated. Exactly. So I'm the one that failed, okay? But the cool thing about that is when God did make the dew on just the blanket, when he had it on just the blanket, it wasn't like, there was, he felt it and it was damp. It says Gideon was able to wring out the fleece, the blanket, and it was enough water on the fleece blanket to fill a bowl. It's quite a bit of water. So it's not like you kind of still had to question it. God made it very clear that he'd answered Gideon's request. And then in the opposite morning, I mean, I would assume the ground is just like any other day where when there's dew on the ground, you absolutely know there's dew on the ground. And then I'm going to, again, conjure up and say that, yes, when he felt the blanket, it was completely dry, which it shouldn't have been, in theory, right? Couple questions for you on this. Did Gideon have a lack of faith in this story? In your opinion, do you think Gideon had a lack of faith?
That's a big question. Because honestly, I do want to say there was a little bit of just normal humanity in Gideon, where I would say there was a ye of little faith. When you've got an angel of the Lord that shows up, and you're already like, oh my gosh, whoa. And he tells you something that the Lord is going to do or whatever is calling you to do. That's already pretty extravagant. But I would put myself in Gideon's shoes, to be fair. And I would say, yeah, once again, we've got this huge army coming over, terrorizing us, and you want me to do what now? He was like a construction dude.
Yes.
Oh, he was like out working on the farm.
Yes. When
the angel came. So I would put my weak self in Gideon's shoes. And I would say there is a level of lack of faith, if you will.
I would agree.
Okay.
No disagreement here. None. Again, that's why we get along well. The other cool thing is that I had to remember, and I kind of talked with Kylie, my wife, about it last night, was in reading that story from Gideon, that it says earlier in the story that Israel had fallen away from God. So Gideon probably didn't have that relationship with God. He didn't really know the voice of God, I wouldn't assume from the context of the scripture. And so my assumption would be, not knowing God's voice, because I can tell you in my own personal walk, the more I read God's word and the more I pray, the better I am able to distinguish what is truly God's voice versus what's the enemy, what is not true, and things
Your
like that.
voice.
My own voice, my own
Mine speaks for you,
justifications. And so I think that had a little bit to do with it, where trying to put myself in Gideon's shoes, where I haven't had that one-on-one relationship, and it's not where it should be with God. And so in putting myself in that situation, absolutely, I would definitely ask for a sign.
Yeah.
And God showed up. Christian, again, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't want to respond that way, first of all.
No.
I would love to say the opposite. I'm just relating to you my humanity, but I don't want to say that's the right way to live life is doubt God and always demand crazy signs. But I just feel like it's relatable. We all do that. So it's really gracious that God did show up.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. You kind of answered the question that was coming for Christian, which is good. It's good because he just knows where the lesson plan is heading. But Christian, do you think that God thought any less of Gideon for him questioning or asking for a sign from the story?
No, I don't think so. And I think my evidence for this is because it's almost, there's a parallel between Gideon and then Thomas.
Yep.
When Thomas demands to see it, or he doesn't really demand, but he asks to see a sign.
No, he demands it.
Yeah, I was giving him a little.
Yeah.
But Jesus doesn't really, he said, he points out that Thomas is doubting, but he doesn't really seem to get angry in any sort of way or look down on Thomas in any way. And I think that's because the Lord does understand, what we are, who we are, and how we think better than we think, or better than we know ourselves.
Yeah.
And so, no, I don't think he looks down on us any less if we have any sort of doubt.
Again, I agree with you. I know when you were a kid, when you guys were kids, we were all told, because we've all been that annoying child in the car where your mom or dad tells you something like, oh, that's a cow. And how do you know that? Why is it a cow? and just constantly asking the question, why or how? And I feel like, as a younger Christian, sometimes you're looked down upon for asking what could be seemingly simple questions, or when the Lord is speaking to you, you ask those questions. But you shouldn't feel guilty or down on yourself, because I can tell you as an adult myself, I still have doubts. I still have doubts like Thomas, and God shows up. He may not show up in the exact way that I ask him to, or in the exact way that I even think he will show up, but he's faithful. He's always faithful, and has been in my life, and he's always given me exactly what I need. It may not be what I want or what I think, but it is exactly what I need. And sometimes you don't realize that in the moment, but I do feel like the older you get and the more time passes, you can look back on those instances with God, and he gave you exactly what you needed in that moment. I think that's echoed all throughout Scripture. Also, thank you very much for segueing into the next story that we're going to talk about. Yes.
Nice.
So we're actually, the second story we want to talk about is actually doubting Thomas. So we're going to be in John chapter 20, verses 24 through 30. And I'm actually going to have our guest read those verses for me.
Okay, tell me which ones again.
20, verse 24 through 30.
Okay. Now Thomas, one of the 12, called the twin. This is after Jesus' resurrection, so let me just preface it with that. Now Thomas, one of the 12, called the twin, was not with them when Jesus came, so the other disciples told him, "We have seen the Lord." But he said to them, "Unless I see in his hands the marks of the nails, and place my finger into the mark of the nails, and place my hand in his side, I will never believe." 8 days later, his disciples were inside again, and Thomas was with them. Although the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, "Peace be with you." Then he said to Thomas, "Put your finger here and see my hands, and put out your hand and place it in my side. Do not disbelieve, but believe." And Thomas answered him, "My Lord and my God." And Jesus said to him, "You have believed because you have seen me. And blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed."
Like Craig, yeah, that was fantastic. Little context for that story, like Craig had said, this is after Jesus has died. So Jesus died and was resurrected, and at this point in the story, he had already shown himself to the other 11 disciples. Well, I mean, yes, 10, yeah, because Judas was, so a mistake. Anyway, so he'd already shown himself to the other 10, and Thomas didn't believe him. He was not there, so he's telling them, "Nope, not going to believe it unless I can put my fingers in the nail holes in his hands or in his side."
It's vivid.
And very vivid.
It's graphic.
Like,
It's raw.
he actually wanted to touch the wounds of Jesus. So if I was Thomas, again, I'm putting myself in Thomas's shoes. Things didn't necessarily go how I'd expected them, right? As a disciple, I thought Jesus was here for a different reason, and he then dies. We think he's there for one reason, but he's there for the true and ultimate reason, to take away our sins and to pay the punishment, pay the price for our salvation. And so when I hear that my friends got to see him, I'm going to be skeptical, because when people die, they're dead, right? I mean, physically, they're dead. So I would be skeptical as well. And one thing that I really took from this story was how gracious God is. He knew what Thomas needed to believe, and he gave him exactly that. He gave him exactly what he needed to believe. And again, like we talked about before, I think God in those moments gives you exactly what you need. It just happened to be that is exactly what Thomas needed to believe. He spoke what he needed to believe, knew exactly what it was. Again, I'm going to ask the question, do you think, did Jesus shame Thomas for his response? Did he shame him?
Yeah, no, I don't think there was shame, like degrading him as a human being.
Okay.
I don't think there was any of that. I think it was almost more of like an encouraging disappointment, if you will, of like, hey, I just want you to know whenever I told you before I even died that, I am the resurrection and the life, and I am going to be, sent over and all this stuff, and all this was going to take place. Obviously, it turned out the way I said. So I think it was a challenge to, hey, trust me, take me at my word, even before it has happened, right? Because he had told him all these things, obviously, before it had taken place. And so now looking on the backside, I think Jesus was just encouraging him and almost sharpening him in his doubt to move forward, to grow in his faith now that when Jesus says something, we can take it to the bank.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And did Jesus do what Thomas asked, Christian?
Yeah, he shows him his side and his hands, and the marks are there.
Absolutely. Praise God. Thank God they
Yeah.
were, right? Amazing price. Really, that is it for our lesson this evening. I've had a great time. Always get good hanging out with my guys. But we do have a couple things for you guys. The first is, if you all have anything that you guys are struggling with, as Lucas says, I'm just going to reiterate it. Reach out to one of the youth leaders that are here to help. Reach out to Lucas. Email the Eastwood email group, and if you need help or prayer for anything, please just reach out. That's what those resources are there for. That's what we're here for. We would love nothing more than to come alongside you, walk beside you, help lead and guide and encourage in any way, shape, or form. We really are here to disciple you. That's what we had. We had great men of God and women of God
That's why I'm here today.
That came alongside us and pushed us and motivated us, and really just shared the love of Christ with us. And that's what we would love to do for you all. Anything that you all need help with or prayer for, reach out. We're more than happy to help. Another fun segment that we're going to do here just at the end to wrap up, and we'll stay on the line here for a little bit. We're going to play one of those games that Lucas always has you guys play. And it's going to be, we don't have any graphics or anything, but those that are paying attention and on here, it's going to be the first two. This is just going to be a selfie game, okay? So the first one, the first person that can send us a selfie of them with a plunger or a toilet scrubber. Plunger or toilet scrubber.
He threw that second one in as a
The second one
mercy.
was mercy.
So I gotta throw in a quick note real quick for you. My iPad is dead. So
Okay.
I don't know how you want to go about this.
Is it charging currently?
It is currently charging. I know
It will be charged by the time.
Okay.
We'll be fine. It'll be great. We're gonna go with it. But we would like a picture of you with a plunger or a toilet scrubber.
Y'all should have both. So.
You should have both. If you don't have either, I'm very concerned about the sanitary conditions in your home, and I will not be visiting. Okay? Because sometimes things happen in a bathroom.
It's true.
Things happen,
It's true.
and they're not accidents.
What happened? I was just
going in there
to look for some cotton balls.
Tell about Joel having to buy one.
Oh yeah, so I am a construction worker, and I'm in remodeling. So I go into people's homes that are already living there, okay? And so there are times where, actually most of the time, they're very gracious and loving. And we try and be loving and gracious back. But they let us use their restroom, and we really love Mexican food on Fridays, company lunch. And we've got a couple guys, and this one particularly, actually, I'm not even going to tell you that it was my boss. I just told you. And
May or may not
he was looking for cotton balls in the bathroom, and the accident happened. The toilet just happened to clog. And so he actually had to run, hop in his truck, go to like Walgreens or wherever that was close by, buy a plunger, bring it back, solve the crisis. And anyway, so
Are we back up, Christian?
Things
It is loading up now.
Okay, all right. So we probably need another story. So
I've got more of them. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll say I definitely have a poop story, but I
Yeah,
don't know that
yeah.
it's appropriate, you know. But if yours is, go with yours.
Well, I will say some people's favorite at Faith Week, I was hosting a talent show, and for some reason, between every skit, I was adding on more, like one more article of clothing, so that my apparel was really extravagant by the end. And at one point, I came out with a church choir robe on, and a plunger, and I just like belted out with everything I had. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood, which is an old hymn for some of you if you don't know. But
Victory in Jesus.
the crowd went wild.
Yeah.
Did it not? Were you there, Phil?
I don't remember.
You weren't there? Okay. It just erupted. And my mom was like, "That's my boy!" Like, she was super proud. So,
All right, so we are up and running now, and I actually already got a message from Abby.
Abby.
There was
Nice.
a picture of her and her plunger. So sorry about the confusion, like if you were gonna like wait to send one or anything, but yeah, Abby was the first one too.
Abby is number one. All
all
right.
right.
So,
Congratulations.
Now again, Abby, we appreciate that, but you gotta win two to get the Grubhub and Uber Eats or Uber Eats, whichever one. We'll get it out to you. Make sure everything's good. I'm gonna let our special guest give you your second selfie request.
Oh, man. All right. So, whoever comes back with their favorite mug, or just a mug, first, selfie, send it in. It can be blank. Or blank, empty.
Selfie
it can have
with
something
your
in it.
favorite mug.
Selfie with favorite mug. Or a mug. Any mug.
The only mug I now own.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's special.
This
I know
is
you're not a coffee guy, but you can put hot chocolate in.
No. This is going to work, and this is gonna have water in it every day. Occasionally Coke.
That's even better. Yeah?
Occasionally Coke.
Tea?
I mean, if I'm sick, maybe. But
You know if
probably
his
not.
favorite drink is Coke? That
Yeah,
man ain't
Okay,
drinking
no.
tea.
Yeah, first of all, too,
That tells you a lot about the character of a man. Yeah.
But also, have you guys seen those commercials out there of Pepsi and, you know, you sit down, Steve Carell, one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
actors.
This
And
is Corey. He just wants this to be a commercial.
this
Super
needs
Bowl
to be a
commercial.
So Super Bowl commercials, Coke, if you're out there, I'll do it. You don't even have to pay me, just give me a lifetime supply of Coke. Okay? I will go sit down at a restaurant, and if they ask, or, you know, what would you like to drink? I say Coke. And they then say, oh, is Pepsi okay? Excuse me? Is Pepsi okay? No. Give me water. I would rather drink water than Pepsi, okay? Pepsi is disgusting. And if you're out there watching, I don't care. So, give me Coke or give me nothing, okay? So that should be the commercial. Like,
I think it should just be like, is
hysterical
Pepsi okay? No.
No.
Blank.
Exactly.
Just different commercial.
Just
just
immediately.
blow right
You know,
through it.
and
That would be funny.
Tide can come in and it can be their commercial, just like
Doritos.
always. Doritos. We don't care.
No,
But
that would
no,
be funny.
Coke is
We
it.
have a picture,
Uh-oh.
and it is Abby once
Wow.
again. It is a mug. It looks like a
salute you.
cow,
Yeah,
and it has
I'll drink
udders
to that.
at the bottom. That's
Wha-
pretty cool, actually.
You
That's
know,
intense.
we cannot get that graphic out there because if we could, we certainly would send that out there for everyone to see.
Good job, Abby.
Abby,
Good job,
we
Abby.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that made it very easy. We appreciate you winning so quickly, Abby.
Yeah.
Made our lives very easy. So we will get that to you. I will work on that. We appreciate your time this evening, and I'm actually going to have Christian pray us out of here this evening.
All right. Lord, I just want to thank you for this technology that we can reach out to the youth, and I pray that you would just help them with any doubts that they might be having, that they would feel welcome to reach out to anybody here. And Lord, I just pray that you would be with them as they go about their week, keep them safe during these storms. Yeah, thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen.